Welcome to Celebrity Reports, the place where we dive deep into the fascinating world of celebrities and uncover the stories behind the headlines. The tragic ending of the last surviving Gilligan's Island cast member is a story that blends nostalgia, admiration, and sadness. For decades, Gilligan's Island was one of television's most beloved comedies, a lighthearted series that made millions of people smile. The cast became household names, each character leaving a lasting impression on generations of viewers. Yet behind the laughter, the final chapters of the surviving members' lives reveal a bittersweet truth about the passage of time and the realities of life after fame. The last surviving star from the classic show was Tina Louise, who famously played Ginger Grant, the glamorous movie star stranded on the island. For many years, she distanced herself from the series, wanting to avoid being typecast and to pursue other roles. But as time went on, she softened toward the legacy of the show and embraced the love that fans had for it. She would often appear at conventions or interviews, where she spoke warmly about her fellow castmates, many of whom had already passed away. Tina Louise's story is one of both triumph and solitude. She lived a long life, reaching her late 80s, but the ending was marked by loneliness. Though she had friends and admirers, she never remarried after her early marriage ended, and she preferred a private lifestyle. Those close to her described her as elegant and gracious, but also somewhat isolated, especially as her health began to decline in her later years. Fans often imagined her as Ginger, glamorous, untouchable, always in the spotlight, but in reality, she lived quietly in New York, cherishing the memories of her career while also coping with the aches of aging. What made her ending tragic wasn't scandal or controversy, but the simple reality of outliving almost everyone she once worked with. Bob Denver, Alan Hale Jr., Jim Backus, Natalie Schafer, Don Wells, and Russell Johnson had all passed years earlier. Louise once admitted in an interview that she often felt like the keeper of the flame, carrying the memory of her colleagues and the joy they brought to audiences. When Don Wells, who played Marianne, died in 2020, Louise became the last surviving cast member. That loss hit her hard, and she reportedly struggled with the weight of being the final living link to such a cherished piece of television history. Friends say that in her last years, Tina Louise rarely went out. She still loved books, music, and the arts, but her world became smaller. She sometimes spoke of the loneliness of being remembered for something she did so long ago while feeling forgotten in the present. It was both an honor and a burden to be so strongly tied to a single role. While she respected the show and its fans, she once confessed that she wished people could see beyond Ginger and remember the breadth of her career. Her passing closed the final chapter of the Gilligan's Island legacy, and it carried a weight of sadness for fans who grew up with the show. For decades, reruns kept the cast alive for new generations, but knowing that the last surviving member was gone gave the series a sense of finality. It was a reminder that time moves forward, even for the stars who once seemed timeless. Yet, even in its tragedy, Tina Louise's ending also had dignity. She left behind a legacy that continues to entertain millions around the world. The laughter she and her castmates created is still echoing through television screens, streaming services, and family memories. While her later years may have been marked by solitude, her work ensured she would never be forgotten. For fans, she will always be Ginger, the glamorous redhead who added sparkle and charm to a little island comedy that became far bigger than anyone expected. The tragic ending of the last surviving cast member is not just the loss of a performer, it's the closing of a cultural era. And yet, because of the joy they gave, the cast of Gilligan's Island will always remain stranded together in the hearts of their fans.